YouTube. I'm having trouble motivating myself, and when I go and Google motivation, one of the things they all say is to set goals, which I've kind of already done, and I don't feel any more motivated. But then the next thing is, like, you should share them, because then maybe you'll do them because peer pressure or fear of not living up to expectations or some shit. I don't know. I don't have any other ideas at the moment, though. So I will read you my list of sort of goals. I mean, I haven't really called them goals. It's more like a to-do list. So there's some boring stuff in there, but maybe if I tell you them, I might actually do some of this stuff. Because I'm trying not to get depressed again, but it's really hard to stay motivated. I don't feel like doing anything most days, and I'm kind of getting bored, but also not bored enough to move on with my life. So here we go. First up, it's in like categories. So music. In terms of music, so there's my asexuality project. I want to finish recording the vocals, and then mix, master, and release an EP. I also want to keep performing. For Rainbow Death Ray, I want to do demos for that, and I've also got to fix up our merch, which no one really buys, but I want to put them onto Bandcamp, and drop prices and stuff, and, you know, maybe move out a few things. But, mainly, like, we've got a merch page, and I didn't look after it, and it was like Zencart or something, and now it's broken, and I can't be bothered to fix it, so I just put it on Bandcamp. Because there's always a chance we'll pick it up again and do stuff. I mean, at the moment, I don't know, it's complicated. After so many years, we've all sort of moved on to different things, and there's a lot of different problems to try and figure out before we can get Rainbow Death Ray going again. So, for the moment, I just want to do the demos and fix our website stuff. Then I've got another music project, which is actually the music project that I'm most excited about, but also the one that I can't tell you much, because it's a sort of secret-ish thing, but I don't know. I mean, so, you know, keep working on that. Hopefully get it going. And yeah, I want to get my hair done, when we get up to doing photo shoots. I mean, that's the main reason I've let my hair go like this and get boring. Because I don't have an income, but also I'm like, maybe I should wait just a little bit longer, because, like, I don't want to choose the wrong color and then have to go through stripping it if I decide on a different colour for this project. So yeah, that's why my hair's been boring for the last 2 years. Yeah, so that project will be exciting when it gets going, but unfortunately I can't tell you much. Then more general music things. Singing practice, guitar practice all the things. Like, I've got a violin, I've got a drum kit that I can't even access, really. I've got a bass, like, you know, I've got too many instruments that I can't play. I've got a bloody cello. And then also I had an idea for another concept EP, sort of like the asexuality project, and this one was more about my psychology and all that, because, you know, every now and then, sometimes people are like, maybe you're autistic or whatever, and then, you know, my psychiatrist was like, noticed that I'm a bit obsessive, and, you know, he's the first psychology person to properly tell me that, and he was always sort of asking me questions about, well, based on the questions, I think he was trying to figure out if I had bipolar or OCD, but I don't fulfill the criteria. So, you know, talking to people on Facebook, maybe I just have my own syndrome, the Mariko syndrome, and so, you know, that was going to be the name of this EP, and then I just write songs about all the ways that I'm a bit crazy. Yeah, okay, so that's pretty much everything I've got down for music. Then there's art. So in November, I'm in a group exhibition, and I've done nothing for it. A friend from uni was like, hey, I'm organising a thing, who wants in? And I was like, yeah, why not? And there's a theme, she's already come up with a theme for it, and, you know, other people in the exhibition already have works that they want to put in. I don't, so I need to actually make some art and make a decent amount of art by November, I think. I mean, that's the date. I don't know if it's been confirmed. I should probably check that. And yeah, I just have no idea what kind of art to make. I'm thinking probably paintings, just because it's easy to carry them around, and that's kind of therapeutic, instead of, like, stressing over sculptural things, or, you know, fucking around with multimedia stuff. So yeah, painting, but I have no idea what to paint. I keep imagining purple abstract stuff, but, you know, I don't want to be that kind of artist, really, but maybe I should just go with what's in my head and be like, yeah, this is just stuff that was in my head, there you go, what more do you need for art? But for me, the main purpose of that is just to have more things on my artist CV, so, you know, if I ever really do want to go somewhere with it, I can be like, yeah, I've been in all these shows, and it won't really matter what I put in, just, I was in these shows, there you go, what more do you want? Other than that, also my local gallery is pretty conservative, and they do this thing every year, getting the local artists to submit, and, you know, out of 300 entries, maybe 200 get in, and I've kind of figured out I just do safe, conservative artwork for that, so I want to paint puppies for it. I'll just paint puppies every year so I can keep getting into that. I've also got with the question mark art prizes, because apparently in Australia, if you want to get anywhere with art, you need to go in art prizes and try and win a few. I don't know if I can be bothered with that, but that's something to think about. Also, my bonsai, my neglected bonsai need repotting, trimming, shaping, fertilizing. And I also wanted to harass Mum to do some watercolor, because she went on, you know, a holiday, and they had a watercolor class, and she bought stuff, and brought it home, and hasn't done much with it, so, like, you know, I showed her a video on YouTube, because I don't do watercolor, I think it's a really frustrating medium, but she likes the look of it, and the teacher she had there wasn't so good, so we looked at YouTube together, and I was like, so here's how you do this, and here's how you see light, and here's some tips, and whatever, and, you know, her first go with me watching it was pretty decent, like, you know, you're always gonna improve gradually, but she hasn't touched it since, so, you know, harass my mum. But she's doing other stuff, like she's at the gym now. Speaking of the gym, fitness is the next category of stuff. And all I've written for that is, dear God, woman, you need to be fit to be better at performing. And probably exercise would help me a lot, you know, to not end up depressed and stuff. It's just like, oh, I'm always tired, and, you know, it's so hard to just get up and do stuff. I'm still taking the circadian melatonin stuff, but it's not really helping. I mean, the days that I've had the best sleep have been the ones where I've stayed up past midnight, which means I haven't really made any progress. And even on the days that I go to bed earlier, I'm still waking up around 10 o'clock, so I haven't really seen much improvement on that, unfortunately. Yeah, anyway, the next thing on the list is cleaning. So I've got to clean up my uni notes. I've got a pile of them on my drum stool next to me. And then I've got another pile of stuff here to clean up. I mean, I've been cleaning my room. I do Sunday is cleaning day, so the bulk of my room is clean every Sunday. It's just like I have these little pockets of stuff that I haven't touched and that I just vacuum around. Yeah, and then I've also got to do another round of dusting off all the knickknacks and stuff, and that's going to be a pain in the butt, because when you've got... I've collected way too much stuff, and the problem with collections is they do gather a lot of dust, especially the more complex shapes, and it's just a pain to dust them off. Maybe I should just get rid of stuff. Except then maybe people would worry about suicide, because one of the things before someone's suiciding is they tend to give away a lot of stuff, and so if I did that, people would probably freak out, so maybe I shouldn't, I don't know. But I do have a lot of stuff, and I'm not as attached to it as I used to be, because I'm just like, I kind of just feel like an empty shell living someone else's life, you know. I've sort of lost the drive that used to make me do things, so I'm kind of just doing what I set up my life for. Yeah, so a lot of things I collected, I just, you know, it's just stuff. I don't really need it, but I'll talk about motivation and, you know, losing parts of me. Another time I wrote a Facebook rant, and, you know, I should probably just rant on YouTube rather than rant on Facebook. I don't think people on Facebook really want to read a 1,000-word random essay from my head. See, like, rambling. Well, the last thing on the cleaning list is, yeah, is it possible to rearrange my room so that the drum kit can be accessed? Because at the moment it can't, and it's a shame, because I got that for my 21st birthday. What am I turn 30 in a few months. Fuck, that's crazy. And I can't play my fancy drum kit. It's just gathering dust, and, you know, it seems like a waste, even though I can't really play drums. Next on the list, I just have this random category for leisure, so read a lot of books. I finally ordered a book, last night. It's Lock In, I think, by John Scalzi. And he's a really good author. I really enjoyed. I've got, hang on, here's something I need to put away. The Old Man's War series. There's 6 books. The first 3 are really good. So if you're interested in some interesting sci-fi, read the first 3. After that, only if you're like really into it. It was good. It's just like not as good as the first 3 books, I think. And you know, my brother has read the first 3 as well, and he thought they were pretty good. But yeah, so I mean, you can go and look up what that's about. But if you're into sci-fi, get that because it's well written. There's good humor. You know, some authors out there just write absolute shit and then somehow become bestsellers. But this guy's actually a good writer, so I'm gonna read Lock In. And if I get into that story, I'll buy the next one. So reading books is something I should do instead of always being online. I also want to buy some white tights because when I rejigged my wardrobe, which I still haven't shown you, yeah, no, I threw out my old white tights because they weren't exactly white anymore and getting a little bit crappy. But I like the white tights because, you know, sometimes you want to wear a skirt and stuff, but you don't want to wear black tights because then everything's just black and you can't see any definition between them. But you also don't want to go bare leg if it's really cold out. So yeah, I need to get some white tights, but I just can't be bothered to go out and I don't have an income really. So, you know, I shouldn't be spending money on things I don't really need. It's more just for aesthetics. And if I'm not performing, I don't need it right now anyway. So eventually. Oh, and then I also want to attempt a DSLR lens autofocus repair. So I've got this old DSLR Canon camera and it's good. It's just that the smaller lens, I've got 2 lenses. The smaller one that I use more. When we were doing Rainbow Death Ray's first super dodgy photo shoot, we took so many photos that the little autofocus thing broke so that it only autofocuses in one direction. And I haven't really used that camera since that happened. I hardly ever use it because my eyesight's so bad that I need the autofocus to help me get things in focus. Because like if I put my... It's one of those ones that you actually have to look in the viewfinder. It's not new enough to have it on the screen. And with the glasses, I can't really get close. Like, you know, it's just, it's a mess. But if I take off my glasses and I'm not wearing contacts, then I don't see clearly. And even if I'm wearing contacts, they're not the full prescription at the moment. So, like, it's just, it's better if I can fix the autofocus. And I did look into buying a new lens, but it's so expensive. And then also repairing it would cost more than buying a new lens. So, I found this great little tutorial. I don't know if it'll actually work, but, you know, seeing as I would have to buy a new lens anyway, I've got nothing to lose by attempting to fix it myself. I got a really cheap part off eBay or something from China. It's got 2 bits in it, so if I fuck up one, I've got another one spare. So, you know, I'll try that eventually. Although, with my little Galaxy S7 Edge being decent enough, I haven't really used a DSLR. I haven't really needed it. So, yeah, it's not really an urgent thing for me. And then the last on the list is watch those DVDs bought ages ago but never touched. So, I think I did finally finish Battlestar Galactica a while ago, but I've got the, what is it? Caprica. And then, I don't know, there might be some other things that I haven't watched. I've got the Heroes series on DVD, which I watched. I can't remember when I watched it, but then I bought the DVDs and I haven't actually even opened some of those. But it's hard for me to get interested in watching TV anymore. You know, like I'll casually watch, what are my parents watching? Death in Paradise. If they're watching that and I see the part where the murder happens, pretty much I just have to watch the rest. I have to find out how it ends, but I'm not attached to the storyline or anything, like the over few episodes, so who, you know, if he's got some love interest or whatever, I don't care about that. It's just like, once someone dies, I have to see how it ends, because they always come up with weird ways that so-and-so killed so-and-so, although I think as I watch it more, it's becoming more predictable, which was kind of my problem with, what's the other one I've got? Wire in the Blood, that just, like, you know, you could kind of tell early on who killed who. I haven't got to that stage with Death in Paradise, but, like, you know, the last one we watched, the way that they tricked people into not knowing who killed who was kind of obvious. So that's a little bit unfortunate. As for other fiction, I think the big problem for me is losing the part of myself that gave a shit about fiction. I mean, I've got so much split personality type stuff, and now I find it hard to care about it. So yeah, I don't know, watching TV doesn't really, and movies and stuff, I can't really get into it. I mean, I should probably see that Jurassic World thing, but I just can't. I just don't care enough. So I think I just watch documentaries and comedy on YouTube now. You know, the American comedy, Stephen Colbert, Seth Meyers, but I'm not even that excited. Anyway, next thing on the list, before I ramble too much more, online presence. So I've got to update my website and check my memory usage, because I did have a few problems about a month or two ago where my website wasn't loading, and they thought memory usage might be the thing, but it's since resolved itself, so I'm not sure what's going on there. You know, if I really do, because it's WordPress, maybe it is doing something funny. But it fixed itself, so yeah, I'm not sure. I also want to clean up my DeviantArt and update with new stuff now that I'm actually doing art more properly. I don't know. YouTube. So I've already done the 1,000 subscribers video. I've already explained the hospital thing. I've also got a leaf art video, which probably most of you won't be interested in, but I've wanted to put that up because I think I want to put that on my website. There's also, like, 10 years ago, I went to Threadbo and recorded a bunch of stuff and took photos, and I was going to put that together. So that's another weird artsy one, but I don't know if I'll bother. Then I was thinking of doing bookshelf mini tours, because you remember a while back I got that request to do a bookshelf tour, but, like, to do one would just take forever. So I thought maybe I'd do a mini one, and then maybe if you see something on my bookshelf that you want me to talk about more, maybe I could go into that. Or maybe I could just pick one thing off the bookshelf every now and then and be like, here's this and here's the story behind it, or whatever. I'm not sure which way I want to go, so if you've got an opinion on that, let me know. At some point I'm also going to do a wardrobe tour, because, you know, I went to Japan and came back and pretty much rejigged my entire wardrobe, and I'm also using a sort of similar to KonMari folding method. Because I chucked out so much stuff, I was like, this is the perfect opportunity to get my wardrobe in order. And, you know, I was finding shirts that I didn't even know I had buried underneath there. So I finally organized it and I can see everything. So I'll show you that at some point. But I was also working on some written material to go with it and just never got around to it. And that's the main reason that I've been slow. So in the meantime, if you want to see some of the things that I'm wearing, just go and check out my Instagram, because that's where I'm posting most of my outfit things. You could also follow on Facebook. I think I mainly post, I don't post everything that I do on Instagram to Facebook, and also most of that goes up on my personal page. I don't always remember to share it to my public page. So yeah, Instagram's the place to go if you want to see things that I'm wearing that are more interesting than my purple jumper and grey pants, lazy clothes. So yeah, Instagram's another thing I want to keep updating, because there's some other photos I've taken that I just haven't got around to putting up. It's a little bit annoying that you can't upload Instagram from your computer, because I do most of my stuff on my computer. Trying to edit photos on the phone, like, it's convenient in a pinch, but it's a pain and it's not flexible, and I don't want to have to download a gazillion apps when I've got perfectly good Photoshop on my PC. But yeah, so that's what makes it slow for me on Instagram, is having to, like, transfer things between the phone and the computer, and then also, because Instagram is the main way that I talk to, I share pictures with my Japanese relatives, I've also got to make sure I translate things to be roughly okay Japanese. So yeah, translating that takes a while. Yeah, and then, I don't know, Tumblr, I've stopped doing regular updates, so I guess I'll post things there now and then, but I'm not really sure what I'm doing with Tumblr at the moment. It's like, it's hard to get feedback on that, because everyone's always posting so much stuff that it's just like, I don't know if you're even looking at anything that you're re-blogging or whatever. So yeah, I'm a bit, I don't know about Tumblr, but I am sending things from Instagram to Tumblr now, so if you don't like Instagram, I guess go to Tumblr instead. And then, oh, this is more just like an admin thing. I was going to change my passwords for everything, because I finally came up with a system to not have the same password for a lot of things, but I haven't updated everything, and some I'm using different systems, and I kind of just wanted to get everything into my new method, which I won't talk about, but yeah, I want to update all my passwords for everything. Just partly security, but also partly for my sanity, so that I remember which ones go with which. Because, yeah, trying to remember so many passwords for different things is a pain. Next, I made Patreon into a separate section. I guess that would stay in online presence. But anyway, so Patreon, I already put some stems on there. There's some remix stems for my patrons. Just like basic, because I couldn't upload everything. I don't have enough space in my Dropbox to give everyone that. And then, yeah, there's that, my Tokyo shopping guide is the one that I wanted to go along with the wardrobe tour, and now it's going to be 6 months out of date, but I've put in some stuff about how you search for things in Japan, and also basic stuff about accessing the internet, because, yeah, if you're a foreigner, you can't buy a proper phone card, only a data card, and if you want to make phone calls, or have that option to make phone calls, that's a bit of a pain. Next section, poetry/writing. So, yeah, with my poetry, I've got 5 books of poetry. They each have 100 poems in them. Published on Lulu kind of thing. And I was going to, like, it's kind of expensive to buy each one separate because, you know, it's a print-on-demand service, so they're charging extra. So I was going to get my 1 to 500 and just smush them into one book, and hopefully that'll bring the price down. So if there've been people waiting to get that, you know, that'd be cheaper. And then, yeah, I want to keep writing poetry. But over the last 2 years, I've hardly done anything. I just, like, the drive that was in me to do it has sort of fizzled out. You know, I have been occasionally doing it, but I'm nowhere near up to the 600th poem. I'm only about, like, maybe 550, really. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I need to start trying to write every day or every week, or I don't know. And then for my art last year, there was the mood cards project that I did, and that went along with a series of blogs, and I wanted to kind of turn that into a book somehow, because I think that was kind of interesting, and that's mainly for me, but I guess I could make that publicly available if I do that, because yeah, I mean, that was something I was going to do for the exhibition, but then the teacher decided I should do this other thing with little mini cards, and you know, that was simpler and easier at the time, but I still like the idea of doing this mood cards book. Next section, computer. I suppose the computer is where the passwords thing should have gone. But anyway, I wanted to do some hard drive backups and also make another disk image so that if anything goes wrong, I've got that to go back to. Because, yeah, I've got 2 computers. I've got my music computer, which has its own little hard drive backup system. But I probably need to back up the backup because my Mac is now... like, it's so small that most of, like, the samples and stuff are on that extra hard drive, and if that hard drive dies, then I'm kind of fucked. So I need to back up my backup. I also need to back up my PC, and that's the main one I want to do a disk image of, because I've had a few times where I've done, and, like, it's still running Windows 7, and the first disk image I did was when I was trying out Windows 10, but I didn't like it, so I went back to the disk image. But other than that, occasionally, like, the regular Windows updates have made it really slow to start up. Lately, for the last year, maybe it's been fine. I don't know why. But just in case anything goes weird with an update, I would like to have a more up-to-date disk image to go back to. And then also, wow, I've really got to clean up my desktop because, you know, I've just been keep saving things to my desktop. So if I just close that for a sec, what have I got? You know, I've got 5 rows across, and then, so 5 columns, and then what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 down, so 50 things, plus another 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then I've got all these sticky notes that I keep, and it's just crazy. I need a file, clean the desktop up, and do some file management. And then health-related things, I've already seen my GP. I've got to see her like every month pretty much anyway though, because yeah, my mental health has been a bit iffy now that I'm not at uni, so I got to be careful about that. I've also got to see the optometrist because like my eyesight is still getting worse, and I've also intentionally been undercorrecting because if I get the full prescription, I feel dizzy, but I think now I just need to get over that and just go for the full prescription. While I'm doing the computer, I should use my old glasses, but if I need to, I haven't driven anywhere in a while, but God help me if I need to drive, I need better glasses for that. And just like to see the bus number in the distance more easily instead of having to go feeling old. I've also got to see the dentist. Fuck, it's expensive. I wish they had the dentist on Medicare, because dental disease is like the most widespread non-contagious disease there is. But anyway, I am on health insurance, so they'll cover about half of it, and I'll still have to spend like $200. And God help me if they want to fix this old filling that I've got. I'll have to ask them, like, is that necessary for my health, or is this just a cosmetic thing? Because if it's just cosmetic, I can't afford it. And I've also got Hope's annual vet coming up, so that's always... but he's doing a lot better ever since we got his tummy lump fixed up. I probably haven't talked about his tummy lump, so if you want me to tell that story, leave a comment. But yeah, no, he's pretty healthy. I suppose his teeth probably could be cleaner, but yeah, you know, he just needs to get his annual vaccination checkup. Next section, look for a job that won't cause depression. I did apply for something, not yesterday, the day before. It's related to the music industry, but I suspect I don't have the right qualities. I mean, I'm perfectly capable because, you know, I've got the customer service experience from doing retail, I've got office experience from the other job. I mean, I haven't worked in a while, but I can do all that stuff. But it is full-time, and I don't really want to jump straight into full-time after being a depressed bum for so long. And then also, they want you to have, like, music experience and all that. But being a sort of underground artist, I don't have that wider knowledge of, like, what's trendy according to the mainstream. And then even as an underground artist, I tend not to follow the things that everyone else does. I'm more interested in my local bands. I don't know why. I think because I can go there and actually see them perform, whereas if I listen to something, I don't always get that vibe. Like, if you're at a gig, you've got the bass going and you can feel it more. And lately, it's been hard for me to get into new music. I think because depression has just numbed me so much and killed my emotions that if I'm listening to something, if it doesn't have, you know, nostalgic value, it's very hard to get me into it. So actually going to a gig is probably better for me if I can convince myself to get out of the house in the first place. But once I'm there, it's okay. I don't enjoy everything, but I think I'm more likely to enjoy it live. And maybe that's why I go for local bands more now. Although there is an artist called Kanga in America, and I'm considering buying her stuff off Bandcamp. But yeah, I don't know yet. I haven't decided. Anyway, that whole ramble about music. Yeah, so I don't even know the mainstream underground bands. So if these guys want me to know what's trendy and help them find people and whatever, I mean, there are things I could do and things that I'm uncertain about. So if I even get an interview, that is something I would have to ask them about. And also, I want a job that I can color my hair, because I don't want to end up in something heaps corporate where I have to sell my soul and not fix this. Like, this is really boring. And I'm also tired of the long hair thing. Long hair is just such a pain. But because I don't know what image we're going to have for this secret band thing, I haven't cut it yet. And then the last thing is family stuff, which I won't say because it's family stuff. Anyway, half an hour of rambling, and I'm going to stop because the phone's going to switch over to a new video file, and then I'll have to stitch it all together, and that's my sort of goals to-do list. I guess harass me to do them. And maybe I'll be more motivated, or I don't know. And maybe I should just make more YouTube videos as well. But I don't know. That'll do for now.